The galaxy had already made its decision about Earth. Humans were weak. That was the official opinion inside the war halls of the Zarithi Empire. Their fleets had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had crushed advanced civilizations that possessed energy shields, quantum cannons, and star-breaking engines. Compared to them, Earth looked primitive. On the main command deck of the flagship Vortex Dominion, tall alien generals stood around a glowing image of Earth. Blue oceans. White clouds. Scattered cities shining softly in the night. No planetary shield, one general said with a low laugh. No visible orbital defense grid, another added. Surface weapons based on chemical propulsion. Ancient technology. The room filled with quiet amusement. To them, Earth was nothing more than a loud, unstable planet filled with emotional creatures who fought among themselves. They studied human history carefully. Wars. Civil conflicts. Political arguments. Protests. The Empire believed this proved weakness. They cannot even unite among themselves, the Supreme Commander said calmly. They will fall in a single cycle. A transmission was sent to Earth. The message was simple. Surrender your military assets. Transfer control of your resources. Accept imperial governance. Resistance will result in planetary correction. The message was broadcast across the solar system for all to see. Across the galaxy, other species watched in silence. Some pitied humans. Some expected to see them beg. Others were simply curious. But Earth did not reply immediately. Hours passed. Then a full day. Alien analysts reported unusual patterns. Human satellites began shifting positions. Civilian broadcasts were replaced by emergency signals. Military communications were encrypted beyond normal levels. The Empire interpreted this as panic. They are scrambling, one officer said confidently. Good, the commander replied. Fear spreads faster than fire. On Earth, however, something else was happening. Deep underground, hidden facilities activated systems that had been silent for decades. Massive doors opened slowly beneath mountains and oceans. Engines hummed in the dark. Screens lit up with classified codes. Human leaders met in secure rooms. There was no shouting. No chaos. Only calm. One admiral looked at the world map covered in red markers and spoke quietly. They finally came. No one seemed surprised. Back in orbit, the Zarithi fleet expanded into attack formation. Hundreds of warships surrounded Earth like a wall of metal. Their weapons glowed faintly as power levels increased. The Supreme Commander decided to send one final message. This is your last chance. Kneel. 3 days had passed since the first warning. For 72 hours, Earth had been silent. Then, suddenly, every human broadcast channel activated at once. Instead of a political leader or military general, a single calm voice spoke across space. You mistake silence for fear. The message ended there. Confusion filled the alien command deck. Before the commander could respond, sensors began reporting strange readings. Energy spikes across the planet. Heat signatures rising from unexpected locations. Objects moving beneath the oceans at impossible speeds. What are those? An officer asked sharply. The planetary scan zoomed in. Across continents, fields opened. Not one. Not 10. Thousands. Missile silos. But they did not fire yet. In space, small objects detached from hidden points along Earth's orbit. Dark shapes, almost invisible against the blackness. They powered up without bright energy signatures. The Empire's scanners struggled to lock onto them. The laughter on the command deck faded. The Supreme Commander narrowed his eyes at the screen. Run full spectrum analysis. The results came back incomplete. Unknown materials. Unknown power sources. Unknown weapon systems. For the first time since entering the system, the Zarithi fleet felt something unexpected. Uncertainty. On Earth, in a control room far below the surface, a human technician took a slow breath and looked at his commander. All systems are ready. The commander nodded once. Let them fire first. Above the planet, the alien fleet's main cannons began to charge, blue light gathering like growing stars. The galaxy watched, expecting Earth to break. Instead, Earth waited. Silent. Still. Ready. And in that silence, something ancient awakened. Because the Empire believed they were about to conquer a weak world. They had no idea they were standing at the edge of a storm. The first alien cannon fired without mercy. A beam of bright blue plasma crashed into Earth's upper atmosphere. The sky flashed white, then burned red as the energy spread across the clouds. Oceans trembled. Shock waves rolled across continents. Cities shook under the force. Across the galaxy, observers believed this was the end. But Earth did not break. Before the smoke even settled, something changed. Thousands of small lights appeared across the planet's surface. From deserts, forests, frozen lands, and deep oceans, objects launched into the sky. They did not move like normal missiles. They did not leave thick trails of smoke. They moved fast. Too fast. Alien scanners tried to lock on, but the signals kept shifting. What are those weapons? A Zarithi officer demanded. No match in our database, the scanner chief replied. Their guidance systems are adaptive. The first wave of human missiles did not strike the largest ships. They targeted communication towers, sensor arrays, and power relays on the outer fleet. One by one, alien ships lost coordination. Then the second wave came. From behind Earth's moon, space rippled. Dark shapes emerged from shadow. The Zarithi had scanned the moon before. It was lifeless rock. Nothing more. They were wrong. Massive human warships slid silently into view. Their hulls were black, absorbing light. Their engines glowed a deep crimson, like burning embers. The alien commander stared at the screen. Impossible, he whispered. The human fleet did not broadcast warnings. They did not announce their arrival. They attacked. Instead of bright beams, thin lines of red light flashed across space. Wherever those lines touched, alien ships split apart. Not explosions. Clean cuts. Precise destruction. A Zarithi cruiser vanished in seconds, sliced through its core reactor. Return fire, the commander roared. Blue plasma cannons fired in every direction. Space filled with energy blasts. Some human ships were hit. One exploded in a silent burst of flame. But the rest kept moving. They moved like hunters. Human drones poured from hidden compartments. Small, fast, and intelligent. They swarmed around alien battleships, attaching to armor and drilling inside. Moments later, those ships went dark. On Earth, citizens watched from shelters and secure networks. The sky above glowed red from orbital battle. Fear was present, but something stronger filled human hearts. Resolve. In the alien flagship, alarms screamed. Commander, we are losing outer formation. Flank collapse on the left sector. Enemy ships are using gravity distortion fields. The Supreme Commander's comm mask began to crack. How can primitives possess such technology? No one answered. Because the truth was becoming clear. Humans had never shown their real strength. The Zarithi fleet attempted to reposition. But every time they moved, another human vessel appeared from unexpected angles. It was as if Earth had predicted every step. Then the sky changed again. From Earth's surface, a massive structure rose from the ocean. Water cascaded off metal towers as it locked into position. Alien sensors detected extreme energy buildup. That reading, it is connected to their star, an officer said in disbelief. The sun itself seemed to flicker slightly brighter. The commander felt something cold settle inside him. Retreat formation, he ordered quietly. But retreat was no longer simple. Space around the fleet shimmered. Gravity warped unnaturally. Escape coordinates failed to stabilize. The human commander, watching from a hidden war room, gave a single order. Phase 2. At once, the red glow in Earth's sky intensified. More alien ships fell. More signals vanished. The empire that believed Earth would kneel now struggled to survive. And as the battle grew more violent, one truth echoed across the stars. They thought humans were weak. But weakness does not survive on a world like Earth. And this was only the beginning. The battle above Earth did not slow down. Wreckage floated between the stars like broken metal rain. Burning alien ships drifted without power. Human vessels moved through the chaos with cold precision. Inside the Zarithi flagship, silence replaced arrogance. How did we not see this? The Supreme Commander demanded. Their intelligence officers replayed old scans of Earth. Every probe. Every spy satellite. Every captured signal. Nothing had revealed fleets of hidden warships. Nothing showed weapons capable of slicing through Imperial armor. One scientist spoke carefully. They hid it, below the surface. The main screen changed. Deep scans of Earth appeared. Layers of rock, oceans, ice. Then new data overlaid the image. Massive hollow spaces beneath mountains. Underground shipyards miles long. Power reactors buried deep below oceans. Entire cities built in secret. The Empire had studied human cities above ground. They never looked deep enough. On Earth, in a command chamber carved into ancient stone, human leaders watched calmly. The room was simple. No golden decorations. No grand throne. Only screens and quiet determination. An older human general spoke softly. They believed we would show our strength early. A young officer nodded. We let them see only what we wanted. Human history had taught one brutal lesson: never reveal everything. For centuries, Earth faced dangers. World wars. Nuclear fear. Cold wars. Terror. Division. But every crisis forced innovation. Defense systems improved in silence. Space technology advanced quietly. Artificial intelligence evolved in hidden labs. The world argued loudly in public. But in secret, it prepared. Back in space, a massive Zarithi supercarrier charged its main weapon. This was no ordinary cannon. It was designed to destroy planets. Energy gathered at its core, glowing bright blue. If we cannot conquer Earth, the commander said, we will erase it. Human sensors detected the charge immediately. Planet killer weapon online, a technician warned. The human general did not panic. Release the swarm. From behind Earth, thousands of tiny pods launched into space. They looked harmless. Small. Weak. The alien crew laughed again. Then the pods opened. Each one released intelligent microdrones that moved faster than thought. They swarmed toward the supercarrier like a living cloud. Defense cannons fired wildly, but the drones changed direction instantly. They slipped through shields using frequency shifts calculated in real time. Within seconds, the supercarrier's hull was covered. Then came silence. The blue glow of the planet killer flickered. Flickered again. And exploded inward. The blast tore the supercarrier apart from the inside. Shockwaves hit nearby ships. Imperial formations broke completely. The Supreme Commander stepped back slowly from the screen. They turned our strength against us. A younger officer whispered, "This is not chaos. This is design." He was right. Every move humans made followed strategy. They targeted weak points first. They removed communication. They controlled space lanes. They predicted retreat patterns. They fought like a species that had studied war for thousands of years. Because they had. On Earth, civilians watched carefully selected feeds. The government did not show fear. It showed control. Children sat in underground shelters asking questions. Parents answered calmly. "We are safe." And they believed it. In orbit, a final group of Zarithi battleships attempted to regroup for a concentrated strike. Before they could form lines, space twisted. Gravity wells opened around them, bending movement. Human ships emerged once more, red lights glowing like eyes in the dark. The alien fleet fired desperately. But desperation is not strategy. Ship after ship fell. The Zarithi Empire had conquered countless peaceful worlds. They had never fought a world born in disaster. They had never fought a death world. As their flagship shook from distant impacts, the Supreme Commander finally understood. Earth was not hiding because it was weak. Earth was hiding because it was waiting. And now the Empire faced a terrifying realization. Humans had not yet used their strongest weapon. And something deep beneath Earth was still powering up. The Zarithi flagship trembled as another battleship vanished in red light. Space around Earth no longer felt like open territory. It felt controlled. Measured. Dominated. The Supreme Commander stared at the tactical map. Red icons marked human ships. Blue icons marked what remained of his fleet. The blue icons were fading. "Signal all remaining forces," he ordered. "Full retreat. Maximum warp." Navigation officers tried to calculate escape routes. "Commander, warp lanes are unstable." On screen, space itself appeared distorted. Gravity fluctuations rippled across the system like invisible waves. Human ships were not just attacking. They were shaping the battlefield. Far below, on Earth's surface, the massive ocean structure continued rising. Pillars locked into orbit one by one, forming a ring of dark metal around the planet. Energy lines connected them. Then the readings changed. Solar output spiked. On alien sensors, the star at the center of the system grew brighter by a fraction. Only a fraction. But enough. A Zarithi scientist turned pale. "They are drawing energy from their star." "That is impossible," another replied. Yet the data was clear. For decades, humans had constructed solar collectors hidden inside asteroid belts, behind gas giants, and beneath space debris. Together they formed a network. A silent machine around their sun. The system activated completely. The sun pulsed. A focused channel of blinding light formed between the star and the orbital ring above Earth. The human general inside the underground chamber spoke one word. Fire. The beam erupted. It was not wild. It was not uncontrolled. It was precise. A concentrated river of solar energy sliced through space. It moved faster than any ship could dodge. The first Zarithi cruiser caught in its path did not explode. It evaporated. Armor, engines, crew, gone in an instant. The beam shifted. Another battleship melted, its structure turning to glowing vapor. Panic spread across the alien command deck. Break formation. Scatter. But scattering did nothing. The beam adjusted direction smoothly, guided by advanced targeting systems. This was not rage. This was execution. The Supreme Commander gripped the edge of his console. "They turned their star into a blade," he whispered. A final cluster of Zarithi ships attempted to shield each other. Defensive fields layered together in desperation. The solar beam struck. Shields flared bright blue. then shattered. One by one, the ships behind them disappeared. The once proud invasion fleet was reduced to drifting wreckage and silence. Only a handful of ships remained intact. On Earth, power levels slowly reduced. The orbital ring dimmed. The sun returned to normal brightness. The weapon powered down. In orbit, human ships surrounded the surviving Zarithi vessels. They did not fire. They waited. Inside the alien flagship, the commander stood motionless. For the first time in his long career, he had no move left. A human transmission appeared on his screen. No anger. No shouting. Only a calm voice. You came to conquer. Now you understand. The commander swallowed his pride. What do you want? He asked quietly. The answer came without hesitation. Your surrender. Silence filled the alien bridge. Officers looked to their leader. He had once laughed at this world. He had called it weak. Now his fleet was ashes around it. Slowly, he gave the order. Transmit surrender code. Across space, the remaining Zarithi ships powered down their weapons. The galaxy watched in disbelief. An empire that had ruled for centuries had been broken in days. But Earth did not pursue the fleeing ships. It did not destroy the survivors. Human vessels held position like silent guardians. In the underground chamber, the human general finally exhaled. Cease fire, he said softly. The war could have continued. Earth could have erased what remained of the empire. But it did not. Because this battle was never about destruction. It was about a message. And that message had been delivered clearly across the stars. They thought humans were weak. Now they knew better. But far beyond the solar system, hidden observers had watched the solar weapon fire. Ancient sensors, drifting in deep space, recorded everything. And something very old began to move. Because when a species turns its sun into a weapon, the universe pays attention. The battlefield around Earth grew quiet. Wreckage drifted slowly in orbit, glowing faintly as it cooled. Pieces of shattered alien ships floated beside broken drones and fragments of metal. The red light that once filled the sky faded back into darkness. For the first time in days, there was no firing. Only silence. Inside the damaged Zarithi flagship, the Supreme Commander stood still as human ships surrounded them from every direction. Their weapons were active, but they did not fire. That frightened him more than the attack. A secure channel opened. A human representative appeared on the screen. No medals covered his uniform. No dramatic background stood behind him. Only a simple command room. You have surrendered, the human said calmly. Yes, the commander answered, his voice heavy. You will withdraw all forces from this system. You will not return with hostile intent. You will share every record of this invasion with the Galactic Council. The commander hesitated. And if we refuse? The human officer did not raise his voice. Then we remind you. The meaning was clear. The Zarithi Empire, once feared across thousands of star systems, now had no power here. We accept your terms, the commander said finally. Across the system, surviving alien ships powered up slowly and formed a retreat line. They moved carefully, almost respectfully, away from Earth. Human ships escorted them to the edge of the solar system. No victory celebration followed. No loud cheers filled Earth's cities. Instead, something else happened. Relief. In underground shelters, families embraced. In control rooms, exhausted technicians removed headsets. Soldiers who had not slept for days closed their eyes for the first time. The world had stood together. And survived. Above them, repair drones began cleaning orbit. Human ships collected debris and rescued stranded alien survivors from destroyed vessels. That surprised many observers. You are helping them, one rescued alien asked a human pilot. We are not monsters, the pilot replied simply. News of the battle spread quickly across the galaxy. Entire star systems replayed recordings of the solar beam. They studied the hidden fleets. They analyzed the gravity traps. A new phrase began circulating in political circles. Do not provoke Earth. Empires adjusted their expansion plans. Trade alliances quietly shifted direction. Military commanders reviewed defense strategies with one question in mind. What else are humans hiding? In the Galactic Council chambers, leaders gathered in emergency session. The Zarithi representatives arrived without arrogance. Without pride. They presented full battle records as required. When the recordings of the solar weapon played, the chamber fell completely silent. An elder diplomat spoke carefully. Earth could have destroyed you entirely. Why did they stop? The Zarithi commander lowered his head. Because they chose to. That answer spread even more fear than the weapon itself. Power without control is chaos. Power with restraint is something else. Back in the solar system, Earth's hidden orbital ring slowly dismantled. Sections returned to storage positions. Solar collectors powered down. Life on the surface began to look normal again. Traffic resumed. Markets reopened. Children returned to school. But something had changed forever. Humanity no longer hid in the shadows of larger empires. The galaxy had seen the storm. And deep beyond mapped space, ancient machines that had slept for centuries activated quietly. Their sensors recorded the manipulation of stellar energy. Their long-range scanners focused on one bright star. Earth's star. Signals were sent through dark space. Unknown vessels adjusted course. Because when a young species survives conquest and turns its sun into a weapon, older powers take notice. On Earth, no one yet knew that distant eyes were watching. They believed the war was over. They believed peace had returned. But far beyond their telescopes, something vast and silent was moving closer. The laughter had stopped. The storm had passed. And the universe was beginning to understand a dangerous truth. Humans were not weak. They were patient. And patience, when tested long enough, becomes wrath.